Welcome, Love Unlimited kids and families. Welcome for joining us. Hey guys, it's me, Ella. This is Ellie, and this is Alexa.
Hi guys, welcome. We're so happy that you can join us today for another blueprint lesson at home. What are you supposed to be? Because I know everyone at home is probably wondering what you're supposed to be. Tell everyone what you're supposed to be.
A clown!
She's a clown today. She loves to dress up, and lately she's been doing a lot of dress up, right? And a lot of costumes and different characters. I want Alexa to ask a couple of questions, and I want you to see if you guys can answer these questions at home.
What makes you feel better when you're worried or scared?
What makes you feel better when you're worried or scared?
Mommy.
Your mommy? Aw, that's so sweet. And what about you, Alexa? What makes you feel better when you're worried or scared?
I like bringing a stuffed animal with me, a certain stuffed animal with me. It's talking to me to not be scared and believe Jesus.
Oh, that is wonderful. I love that. And I hope, what about you guys? What are some of your answers to this question? So we can all feel worried or scared sometimes, but when we do, we can trust that God is with us and taking care of us. So let me hear you say this after me. When I feel worried, I can trust God. Let's do it again. When I feel worried, I can trust God. Okay, so last week we learned about the story of Gideon. And we're also going to watch another video of the story of Gideon that you might enjoy. Watch this.
Hey everybody, listen up. Here's what God has to say.
Has to say about what?
Well, I was just about to tell you
Wait,
that...
is it good news or bad news? Like, good news as when we're having pancakes for dinner?
Pancakes? What are you even talking about?
Oh no! Is it bad news? As in velociraptors are prowling around downtown with laser beams coming from their eyes and they're stealing everyone's pants? So many pants! It's got me so worried.
Let me stop you right there. That's what our story is about.
About pants?
Ha ha, not pants. Worrying. There are so many things we can worry about, and God has something to say about it. So let's jump into our story about Gideon.
Gideon! My main man! But wait, what did he have to worry about?
Great question, and great place to start. So Gideon was an Israelite. The Israelites were God's chosen people, but they started to do some really bad things that upset him.
Oh, like cheating on tests and staying up past their bedtimes? That's like bad.
Oh, even really badder than that. They started to disobey God, so he let a mean group of people, the Midianites, rule over them. For years, they would attack the Israelites and destroy their crops.
Oh man, bullies who take your lunch money? Definitely lots to worry about.
Oh yeah, and this went on forever. Finally, the Israelites shouted out to God, asking for his help.
Time to throw up the bat signal.
Even though the Israelites had started worshiping false gods, the one true God heard their cries. He had an idea and was about to come through for them big time.
He was going to give them a shrink ray gun so they could turn the Midianites into little baby ants. Now that's an idea.
Oh, it's an idea, all right. And that's where Gideon comes back into the picture. Gideon, who was hiding while separating the wheat they used for bread, was worried that if the Midianites knew he had food, they would take it. That's when God sent an angel who said to Gideon,
"Mighty warrior, God is with you."
Gideon did not feel like God was with them and asked the angel about all the bad things that were happening. That's when God himself spoke to Gideon. He said, "You are strong. Go and save Israel from the power of Midian. I am sending you."
Well, I guess it doesn't get much more clear than that, right?
Well, you'd think so, but Gideon was still worried. He wondered why on earth God would choose him to go save everyone. It's not like he came from a strong family. Gideon didn't feel important at all. God reassured Gideon that he would be with him, but Gideon needed a sign. So he asked God to stick around for a minute while he prepared an offering.
I'm sure God didn't mind waiting since he's got all the time in the world.
Gideon whipped up some bread and goat stew. brought it back, and placed it on a rock. That's when the angel touched it with a stick, and the whole thing went up in flames.
Flaming bread, and flaming stew, and flaming rocks.
There weren't any flaming rocks, but Gideon did make an altar there for God. And speaking of altars, that same night, Gideon snuck around.
Like a ninja dressed in all black, throwing ninja stars at the other altars, and slicing a pole in half using a samurai sword.
Gideon didn't have ninja stars or a samurai sword, but he did destroy the altar and pole his family had used for worshiping false gods.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Gideon did all this at night because he was afraid and worried that his family would be very angry with him. When the townspeople saw what Gideon had done, they wanted him to pay for it. But nothing bad happened to Gideon.
Sounds like that was a close call.
It sure was. A little while later, the Midianites started moving in for another attack, and it didn't take long for Gideon to start worrying again. He knew God had promised to use him to save Israel and all, but he needed another reminder.
What did Gideon have in mind? It's not like God could just shoot him a text.
Yeah, no cell phones, but Gideon did have an idea. You see, dew would form overnight and make the ground, as well as everything else around it, wet. So Gideon left a piece of wool on the ground overnight and asked God to make the wool wet from the dew, but leave the ground dry.
Wet wool, dry ground, check.
Sure enough, God did just that. But Gideon still wasn't sure and asked God if he'd do just the opposite the next night.
Okay, so dry wool and wet ground. Got it.
When Gideon woke up the next morning, that's exactly what he found. The wool was dry, but the ground around it was covered in dew.
Please tell me Gideon trusted God this time.
Gideon was now confident that God wanted him to fight the Midianites. He knew that the Lord thought he was good enough to do the job. So Gideon decided to stop worrying, trust God, and do exactly what God wanted him to do.
So the next time we find ourselves worrying about anything,
We can trust God.
All right, did you like that version and that cartoon of the story of Gideon? Yes, that was fun.
When we feel scared or worried, we can pray and ask God to help us. We can trust in God that will knock all our worries or scare feeling away because He is with us. Say this after me one more time. When I feel worried,
When I feel worried,
I can trust God.
I can trust God. Yes, that was awesome. Thank you for reading that to us, Alexa. Now it's time to say the memory verse. Are you guys ready to say the memory verse together?
Yeah.
Do you remember it? How about you girls? Do you girls remember the memory verse? So it starts with, but even if we. Okay, so I'm going to count to 3 and we're going to say the memory verse together. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. But even if we don't feel at ease, God is greater than our feelings. And He knows everything. 1 John 3:20. Great! You guys did an awesome job. Now we are going to end in a word of prayer. All right, everyone, close your eyes and bow your heads.
Father God, thank you for all the ways you have taken care of us. We choose right now to trust you instead of worry. We have nothing to fear because we have you. We love you. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you guys for joining us today and learning with us. Now we're going to build a tower for our fears.
Yay! Are you guys ready to see this?
Yeah.
You can try this at home. If you have a Lego set or any Legos of any kind, you can do this at home too. All right, guys, we have a couple of Legos here, and the girls are going to build the tallest tower that they can. But as they add a Lego to the tower, they're going to say what they're worried about, because this is a fear or worry towers. After you build the tallest tower, we're going to knock it down, like if we're knocking out our fears and worries. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, girls. So sometimes I get worried about my family and my family's health.
I'm worried because of my dad.
Oh yes, you gotta pray for Dad.
I'm worried about the coronavirus.
Yes, that is a worry nowadays.
I'm worried about Dad because he's not gonna because he can't go to work. I'm worried about if we might not go to school on summer.
After summer somewhere? Okay, what about you?
I'm scared of the coronavirus because Grandma doesn't let us go to school.
Okay.
I'm scared or worried about I'm scared of being alone.
Okay.
I'm scared of the dark and being alone in my bedroom without my light.
Okay, so go ahead and put your leg up.
Daddy loves.
I'm worried for the future of this country. What about you?
I'm worried for my friends if they might get sick or something.
Okay. Now that we've said our worries and our fears, let's keep on stacking it as high as we can. This is our tall tower. I think this is like a record, right? The tallest tower we've ever built together. Okay, so now that you've built the tallest tower that you can possibly build at home, now, remember, this is a fear tower. So now what are we going to do? We're going to
smash it.
We're going to knock it down. Knock it down. Are you guys ready? Knock it down. Knock it down! Yay! Congratulations! We've knocked down our fears. And I think that you guys did the same at home.
Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you visit loveunlimited.com/kids for principles, worship songs, and more.
Thank you guys for joining us. We're so happy to have you. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.